Hello and welcome to the Irish Aesthete. Previously, I was talking about the wonderful Mussenden Temple found on the north coast in County Derry. The temple dates from the mid-1780s when built to honour the cousin of the Downhill Estate's then owner. He was this man, Frederick Harvey, who for 35 years served as the established church's Bishop of Derry. There's a very great deal to say about Harvey, as he was one of the most extraordinary characters of the period, but then again, he came from extraordinary stock. Frederick's grandfather was John Harvey, a member of Parliament for Suffolk, who, because of his opposition to the Jacobite cause and his keen support for the Hanoverian succession, was duly rewarded in 1714 by being created first Earl of Bristol. Lord Bristol's eldest son died 9 years later, so his second duly became heir to the title and the estate. This was John, Lord Harvey. Infamously licentious, in 1720 Lord Harvey married one of the great beauties of the court at that time, Mary Lepel, a lady-in-waiting to the then Princess of Wales, wife of the future George II. Despite his hectic extramarital activities, the couple would have 8 children. While his father had enjoyed an impressive political career, Lord Harvey would rise no higher than being made Lord Privy Seal, by that time a fine-sounding but largely worthless sinecure. It's in this role that he can be seen portrayed here. It may be that Lord Harvey's busy private life, which was not so private since everyone knew about it, stymied his chances of government promotion. It was the intrepid Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, who we've encountered on this site before, who apparently first proposed that the world consists of men, women, and Harveys. That was certainly the case with Lord Harvey. Today, if he were to go onto Tinder, I suppose he would have to describe himself as bisexual, but no such term existed at the time, and mostly he was called notorious. We know he had affairs with a great many women, including the aforementioned Lady Mary Wortley Montagu, but he also had quite a few with men. As a result, he attracted a great deal of opprobrium, not least from the finest poet of the period, Alexander Pope, who in his satiric poem of 1735, the Epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot, mockingly called Lord Harvey Sporus, the name of the Emperor Nero's catamite, and wrote of him, "His wit all seesaw between that and this, now high, now low, now master, now miss. And he himself one vile antithesis, amphibious thing, that acting either part, the trifling head or the corrupted heart, fop at the toilet, flatterer at the board, now trips a lady, now struts a lord." And Horace Walpole thought little better of him, declaring when Lord Harvey died in 1743 that he had outlived his last inch of character. Although he published his own retorts to various attacks, they don't seem to have deterred Lord Harvey from following his own unique path in the world, and from making sure that path led him to fresh pleasures. Here we can see him in a conversation piece by William Hogarth. You find him in a grey coat, disdaining to look at an architectural plan so that he can instead turn his gaze on the picture's viewers and perhaps decide which one of us is worth seducing. Lord Harvey's greatest foe had once been his greatest friend. That was Frederick, Prince of Wales, son of George II and father of the future George III. The two men had been very close. It's even been suggested that they'd had some kind of sexual relationship before becoming bitter enemies. The hostility seems to have arisen because they were both rivals for the affection of the same woman, Anne Vane, who did indeed become the prince's mistress and may even have had a son by him. Mrs. Vane was a maid of honour to Queen Caroline, the prince's mother, and Lord Harvey's greatest friend and supporter. The Queen seems not to have been troubled by her confidante's busy sex life, always finding him, it was written, particularly agreeable, as he helped to enliven the uniformity of a court with sprightly repartees and lively sallies of wit. However, unknown to Caroline and his other contemporaries, Lord Harvey had written a detailed memoir of court life during this period, which was only published, albeit in a somewhat censored edition, in 1848. I highly recommend Lord Harvey's memoirs to you. They're not quite in the same league as those of the Duc de Saint-Simon, but then again, what could be, and they certainly make for a good read. So that's the stock from which Frederick Harvey was sprung. In the next episode, I'm going to explain how it was that he came to be made a bishop in Ireland. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for watching The Irish Aesthete. Goodbye.